my twin was cancer. And so mom from that got very, very sick. And so instead of having more kids, we became a foster family later on in life. So around the time I was 11 or 12, we became a foster family. And one of the kids that we got was Nia. Now, Nia was a 23-week preemie. Y'all, that's early, right? She came to us 8 months old, and she was just a couple pounds, right? And so this is Nia several months after we got her. When we got her, she couldn't move. She couldn't really talk. She was in a lot of pain. She had one eye that was calcifying from the inside out, which is a very painful process, right? And so she was sent to us on a DNR, which is a do not resuscitate. We were just supposed to make her comfortable while she passed away. And the reason for that was my mom was an RN, right? And so mom had some very good nursing skills, and so she had the medical qualifications to handle that. Now, as you go on in the next photo, you can see that Nia had something else in mind, right? This is me when I think I was like 17. You miss my goatee, don't you? Right? And this is Nia. She's probably maybe 2 years old at this point. You can see, now if you notice, she's got both her eyes in this. One of those is a prosthetic eye, which she loved to take out and chase people with when it freaked them out, right? And so she just had a great time, but Nia was an absolute miracle, right? Every time we thought she was done, she stayed, right? Guys, I can't tell you the number of times that my parents, when we first got her, she would flatline, right? Like we had all sorts of monitoring equipment, and mom and dad would go in there and she would come back, right? And we would pray, and the doctors would say, hey, it'll be any day now. And we just fell in love with this girl because despite the lack of ability to do many things, it was obvious she was fighting to live. You ever seen somebody like that? She wanted to live. And so go on to the next one. So Nia had a huge love. Have y'all ever seen somebody so happy in your life? Right? Like Nia had this thing, right? So she was legally deaf and blind, but she could see contrasts in light, right? And so the closer you were to her eye, she only had one good eye, the more contrast she could see, and she could only hear really deep voices or really loud things. And so this face was what she would do after she grabbed a shirt, right? She would like grab a shirt and pull you in. How she was so strong, I have no idea. She would pull you in and she would go, ooh, right? With her one good eye. And then she'd go, ooh, right? And she'd shake her little hands and then she'd make that face. It was the cutest thing ever. On the next photo, you can see this is the first time Nia met Izzy, and that's not me, that's my dad, right? So in case y'all ever seen my dad, he's evil and old, and he should have way more gray hair than that, right? But this is Nia, the first time she met Izzy, and so that's a cute little baby Izzy. Look at the face on her right there. Like she loved Izzy like crazy, right? I wish y'all could have seen her with Izzy. Go to the next photo. So this is Nia. Her other great love in life was chips with ranch dip. Some of y'all can say amen to that, right? She loved chips with ranch dip. The thing in her hand was an old iPod that played out of a speaker that she would press to her ear. She couldn't hear it, but she could hear the vibrations. She could feel the vibrations. Go to the next one. This is my dad and her a little later on. She's about 12 in this picture, but you can see just the love and the joy that she had in life. Now, during this time, she had heart disease. She had kidney failure. She had lung disease. She had grand mal seizures. Just a medical miracle, right? Every time this kid was thrown an obstacle, she just overcame to the point that you ever seen so many miracles in your life, you just kind of expect them, right? Like at a certain point, mom and dad would call me and they'd be like, hey, Josh, we're taking Nia to the hospital. I'd be like, all right, cool. Do you want me to go take the dogs out? Because you just expect it, right? It wasn't a thing. I just knew she'd be fine and she'd come home after that. Go to the next photo. So this is me, dad, Nia, and she's maybe 14 or 15 at this point. And that person under the cat blanket, I'm sure y'all can't guess that it's Izzy, right? That's Izzy right there. Go to the next photo. This is our family. Nia got a Make-A-Wish trip. So we went down to Florida and we got to go there, and she had just an amazing time. That's mom and dad. I'm kind of cut out on the side over there, but this one right here is Nia. I don't know why her doctors gave her glasses. She loved them though. In fact, during her life, she would take and she would put on my glasses, and then she'd put on a pair of sunglasses, and then she would line sunglasses up her head so that she could take off one and pull down another one, right? It was like her way of changing moods, right? It was the cutest thing ever. Go to the next slide. So this is me and Nia at the same trip, right? Down there at the Make-A-Wish, and she had a great time. She got to meet Barney, who I despise, but I mean, have you ever heard his song? Talk about a creeper, right? Like, I mean, it's just weird, right? But she loved Barney, and she spent hours with Barney, right? She got to go to the front of the line, which she loved to rub in the faces of all the people that, you ever heard this thing, Disney is the happiest place on earth? You know how much of a lie that is when you see people waiting in line in a 97-degree day, right? And we would go by, and Nia would be like, bye, everybody, right? So many evil looks to a little, special needs baby, but she loved it, right? Go to the next one. This is me hugging Nia. This is later on in life. She's probably 17 or 18 here. This is Izzy right there. How many more do we have? Is that the last one? That's the last one. And so you can see Nia was huge in my life. She is, to this day, perhaps the biggest reason why I believe in miracles. She passed away 2 years ago, and there's not a day that goes by that I don't miss her. And the blessings that she gave. We drive by this stinking restaurant, Culver's, that she loved. And even though it's bad for my waistline, I have to stop and get a freaking extra large sweet tea to drink it in her honor. Because that's what we did, right? She was on dialysis, and they're like, no sugar. Well, guess what? When you say, Bobo, I want a sweet tea, guess what you're getting? Screw doctors, right? Don't actually, right? That's not good, right? Bad advice from the pastor. But the faith that I have is a direct reflection of the life that she lived. And the miracles that I saw with her and the love that she helped me feel for Christ, because she had no idea that Jesus lived 2,000 years ago, guys. She thought Jesus was this really awesome dude that died for her sins and came back to life and lived in Kansas, right? Serious. She asked us all the time if she could go meet Jesus, right? And we knew one day that she would. And now she has. And I think she's having the best ride of her life with the best sweet tea in the world and the universe, laughing with Jesus and singing with Barney, because I'm sure he made it to heaven somehow too, right? But the biggest blessings come wrapped with some of the hardest lessons.